Imagine, a beggar begs for alms in front of you every day. He sits quietly with his dirty clothes, a dirty bowl, and bowed head. You ignore him, but you don't even realize that the money he collects every day is doing something to him that will become an example to the whole world. One day, when his truth came out, the whole city was shaken. Who was he? And why did he spend his whole life begging? So what was the truth? Let's find out the untold story of this beggar. At the busiest crossroads of the city, outside an old temple, a beggar named Fakira used to come and sit at his place every morning. Dirty, wrinkled clothes, long beard, disheveled hair, and a dirty bowl in his hand. People used to ignore him as an ordinary beggar. They would give him some coins, look at him with contempt, and beg him for some money. Why does a beggar beg when he is old enough to work? But Fakira would remain silent. He never asked anyone for anything. He would just sit with his head bowed. And when his bowl was filled with coins, he would get up and disappear somewhere in the narrow streets of the city. The people of the city didn't care about his behavior. But Raghu, who was a poor boy of 1 to 12 years, found all this strange. Raghu couldn't go to school himself, so he would collect useless things from the garbage and sell them. One day, when Fakira got up with the coins, Raghu quietly followed him. Fakira passed through the narrow streets and reached an old, dilapidated house. Raghu peered inside through the window, and his eyes were wide open. Around 60 to 70 children were studying inside. Their clothes were old and torn, but their faces were happy. They had books, a slate, and some wooden chairs and tables. Fakira went inside and took out the coins from his clothes and gave them to an old woman. The old woman blessed them and said, "May God bless you, Fakira. These children are able to study because of you." Fakira smiled and said, "Just keep teaching them, Amma. This is the biggest blessing for me." Raghu was surprised to see all this. So this man is not a beggar. He is taking care of the lives of orphaned children. The next day, Raghu asked Fakira, "Who are you? And why are you doing all this?" Fakira remained silent at first. Then he took a deep breath and said, "My real name is Ranveer Singh. I was once the biggest businessman of this city. I had property worth crores, a big mansion, cars, servants, everything." Raghu was surprised. "Then why do you beg?" Ranveer's eyes became teary. "One day, my greed and arrogance took over my world. Ranveer told me that a few years ago he had forcibly plowed the land of an orphanage in the city and built a factory there. But that same night, the factory caught fire and dozens of orphan children were burnt to death. Ranveer earned a lot of money, but his soul did not let him rest in peace. He used to cry every time he saw his face in the mirror. He used to hear the screams of those children. My greed killed the innocent. One day he left everything. He gave up his wealth of crores and chose this path. Now he used to beg and help those children who had no support. One day there was a flood in the city. Many houses were destroyed, and water filled Fakira's school. Ranveer took the children out of there without worrying about his own life. But he himself was swept away by the strong current. When people came to know of this, the entire city went to the hospital. It was published in the newspapers that Ranveer Singh, who had become a beggar from a millionaire, had taught innumerable orphans. People were shocked. The one whom they thought to be an ordinary beggar was actually the biggest donor. Ranveer's condition was serious. When the doctors said that he might not be able to survive, he made one last wish. "After my death, don't erase my identity. Extend this school further." A few hours later, Ranveer took his last breath. The entire city wept upon learning of Ranveer's story. The man whom people used to look down upon, he taught innumerable children, raised them, and gave them a new life. Raghu swore that he would not let the school close down. Now he would teach himself and teach the rest of the children as well. The place, which was once a ruin, is now known as the Ranveer Foundation. Today, innumerable children are studying there. Learn that the real hero is not the one who earns fame, but the one who stays anonymous and changes the lives of others. Ranveer is gone, but his story will always live on in the hearts of people. Ranveer's story teaches us that true greatness is not in fame or wealth, but in changing the lives of others. If you find this story inspiring, then share it and let us know in the comments. Who do you think is the real hero?